Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the Transformers Studio Series 86 Leader Class Megatron from the Transformers, the movie. Let's get into it! Let's begin with a look at the packaging. And here we have on the top the Transformers, the movie, Megatron with a nice Decepticon logo right there. Takara Tomy, a little bit of a window to let some light in from the top. Then we move around to the front, nice big window showcasing most of the figure and at least one of his accessories. And then we have some nice artwork on this side of Robot and alt mode, even though this alt mode is not what he turns into in the Transformers the movie. And right here it says, more than meets the eye, the Autobot logo transforms from robot to vehicle in 54 steps, ages 8 and up. And in the back you can see some nice Decepticonish logos all over the inside insert of the box. And then here we said Transformers Studio Series. I almost forgot the series. The Transformers the movie, Decepticon Megatron, Hasbro print on the bottom, small print, fine print, legalese print, made in Vietnam print, symbols I'm not going to learn, a barcode, and includes figure and 4 pieces. On this side we've got that nice artwork again of Megatron in his robot mode, Decepticon logo and Megatron. Transformers Studio Series, the Transformers the movie. And then on this side, we've got the artwork here. It wraps around to this side. So we've got Megatron's arm going on there. An Autobot logo, Autobot City there in the background. Transformers Studio Series Leader Class. And there it is again in some other languages. And then here we have the Transformers, the movie. A nice shot of Megatron from the film Megatron and the Decepticon logo. Megatron and the Decepticons prepare to mount a surprise attack on Autobot City. Awesome. So here we have a nice digital render of him in robot mode and in alt mode. And then here's the digital render of how you can store some of his stuff when he's in robot mode. Also, other guys can hold the gun mode piece that comes with Megatron here. Warning, attention, Octoon, don't stick things in any language pie hole that do not belong there. Don't give it to babies. Recycle stuff in wherever you are, and small fine legalese made in Vietnam print. Assortment number, I'm guessing, and Hasbro print. Also, more than meets the eye, authentic. That, my friends, completes our look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and his accessories in alt mode. And first up, we have the handy dandy instruction manual. It says Transformers Studio Series, the Transformers, the movie, Megatron, and there's some small fine legalese symbols I'm not going to learn, to Kartomi and Hasbro. And then as you open up the instructions, and I'm not going to open them up all the way, just enough to kind of give you an idea of what's going on here. It's nicely illustrated with very clear illustrations, no blurring or anything like that like we used to get back in the day. The instructions are pretty straightforward to follow, and the pieces that need to be manipulated for each step are colored differently. It's black and white, and then the punch of color is the piece you manipulate. So there's that. Now next up here we have Megatron's Mini-Me, which I think is the same Megatron gun that comes in the accessory pack with the Sentry from the War for Cybertron. It was a Pulse exclusive, so you know, the cage, the little Shockwave, the little Megatron Optimus's big old honking blaster. So there was a lot of stuff in that accessory pack, and I believe this is that same piece. It looks to be. It does have a little bit on the end here, so you can put those War for Cybertron effects, blast effects on it. So that's neat that they included that and made it part of the piece too. Now here's the sword that he uses, the laser sword that he uses in the movie with his final battle with Optimus Prime. I have to say, for the most part, it looks pretty good. It looks like it's two pieces. This is one piece, this is another piece. And this is kind of a shiny, chromy blue. At least I'm assuming it's blue. I'm colorblind. I make fun of handicapped people. And then this one is more of a glossy without the chromy part to it. Chromy, not crummy, chromy. And then we've got a port right here for storage, and then it's got a little bit of waffling on it. But overall, it looks like an okay piece. Now let's look at the alt mode. And I have to say, this is probably the second best tank alt mode for Megatron. I do believe the first best is the Combiner Wars Leader Class Megatron. Has the best tank mode of a Megatron. And then I would have to say this one probably comes in a reasonably close second. Some of it feels familiar from Siege, not that it's reuse in any way, I don't think, but it just, some of the engineering might be reused, and you know, some of it just feels familiar. Now he's got two wheels here and then a double kind of wheel here, and he rolls pretty freely, so there's nothing wrong with his ability to roll. This piece is also removable, but we'll show that later. And the turret also spins, but it's way back here, so it's weird looking if the turret spins, so that's weird. Now, as far as storage for accessories, the Megatron Mini-Me goes up here, or you could put it on this side if you wanted to. And then the sword ports in right there. And again, if you wanted to put it on the other side, there's a port over here as well. Now, it's all pretty much molded in the proper color, and I apologize about bumping the camera, but it is a Digital Caveman Presents review. So he's got a nice big Decepticon Tampo right there. And there's a little bit of paint apps right here, it looks like. And everything else looks like it's molded in color. So there's that. And I have to say, you know, I mean, this is not a bad looking tank mode. I don't know. I like Megatron to be a gun. But modern collectors, I think we've just about given up on that. But there you have it, my friends. A look at the figure in his alt mode. It's time for alt mode comparisons. And here we have Transformers Studio Series 86, the Transformers the movie Leader Class Megatron, with the Transformers Studio Series 86, the Transformers the movie Commander Class Optimus Prime, and the Walmart exclusive Netflix War for Cybertron Trilogy Kingdom Spoiler Pack number 3 Voyager Class Megatron. For our last set of alt mode comparisons, here we have the Transformers Studio Series 86 Leader Class Megatron with the Transformers Titans Returns Legends Class Bumblebee and the Amazon exclusive Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy Earthrise Leader Class Alternate Universe Optimus Prime. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the comedy portion of our program where I attempt to transform this Transformer. And I can go ahead and tell you, I already know I'm going to have difficulty with it because I did transform him into alt mode one time, but that's been several days ago, and I really haven't looked at it since. So we'll see how this goes. I do have the handy dandy instructions standing by though. So first of all, let's take that off. And then let's take the mini-me off. And then this piece we can also pull off. And as you can see, it's got a hinge there. And then I think we can probably go ahead and pull this off too. So while we've got this out, there is a little bit of work you have to do to this. So this piece right here is on a double hinge. So you unhinge it and then just put it back into place there to make Megatron's fusion cannon. Oh, so let's see, where do I start? I don't even know, folks. So again, that's why I started calling these the comedy portion. So I guess we can untab these, and then this part will untab as well. And you can see there's a big old tab right here. It tabs into that big old port, and then there's some tabs that tab in here and tab over here. The tabs in right here, I think. And there I go bumping the camera again because, yep. You guessed it, Digital Caveman presents review. So let's see if I can remember how to do this. Probably not. So these pieces seem like they're tabbed in as well. So they untab and then you can move them over to the side. This piece is probably tabbed in too, or maybe not. Always, always, Digital Caveman presents how he crappily transforms Transformers. So that piece comes undone, and I guess this stays flat out. It's got two ports right there and two tabs right there, and it folds over and supposedly locks into place there. But it doesn't seem to be lining up exactly right, so let's see. There, I finally got it. And then flip this piece up, I think, to hold it in place. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe not yet. So open that up and let's go ahead and flip the head out, and then we can close that chest piece back up, I think. And let's see, how does it do? Like that. And then I think this piece folds up. Yes, there it goes. Then we can put that back down. Then we can put that back in place. Maybe. And then now that piece goes in there and tabs in and locks that into place. Then we can straighten what will become the legs up. Those pieces go around to the side. I do believe we can go ahead and spin that around. Yeah, that's the front. I'm pretty sure anyway. So that opens up. And then these, I'm pretty sure, fold like this, and probably not yet. Does that open up? I don't think so. But there I go talking to myself. Feels like that's supposed to open up and this part's supposed to go in there. Well, let me consult the handy dandy manual. Okay, it seems this is supposed to open up that way. Haha. I was trying to manipulate the wrong part. So that folds in like that, and then that can close up. And same thing over here on this side. And I guess for me it doesn't matter which piece I'm trying to manipulate, it just doesn't want to do. There we go. Handy dandy tweezers to the rescue. I think. There we go. So that opens up, that folds in, then that closes back up. So I think now, yeah, see, you've got a tab right here and a port right there. And you got to work this hinge a little bit to get it to go to the proper area. Then this piece, shoot, does it go up like that? Maybe. I'll consult the manual in just a moment. So there we have the front of his leg, and it just kind of goes back down into position, and then you adjust his foot appropriately. Do the same thing over here. And again, fix his foot into the proper position. And now that we've got that done, let me consult the manual and see if I have those pieces correctly. And yes, I do believe, according to the instructions, that I did do that properly. Now let's see if I can figure out how to do these arms. So I know that they tab in together like that, but you untab them. And then, let's see. I think this piece folds like that. Guessing it folds on up into his back, but probably not until I fix these joints. That's these joints, by the way. Not the funnest joints to mess with. Maybe I have to do them like that. That seems like it might do a little better. Maybe. Yes. There we go. And then you just maneuver these hinges up till the arm goes into position where it's supposed to go, or the shoulder rather. And the same over on this side. And it kind of tabs into place, I think. Maybe it just hinges into place. But it does kind of tab down into here. Alright, so that's pretty good, I think. I don't know. I'm not doing the greatest on this transformation. So there's one hinge and another hinge, and once you have that done, you can flip the hand out, and then you just put these pieces back. Is that right? No, there's another step that I missed, I think. Seems like there was an elbow thing there. I don't know. Must be, because, yeah. Let me consult the manual again. Alright, I think I figured it out without the manual. But I can't prove it. So you open that back up, and then this spins around, and you put the hand all the way out, and then you lock that back into position, and there we go. That's more appropriate looking. And then, you know, you adjust his fingers however you want for transformation. Again, open that up, spin that around, flip the hand out. And then if you want to, you can adjust the fingers. Not necessarily part of transformation. And then turn the arms correctly. And then take Megatron's fusion cannon and port it into his arm there. This piece ports right here, and then you turn it up with the sight piece pointing back. And then if you want to, you can plug this on his back. I guess you could plug it down here. No, it doesn't fit in that one. Or also the sword can fit there too. And there you have it, my friends. Megatron in all his transformed glory. Let's take a look at the figure in his robot mode. And I have to say, they did a really good job on the look for the robot mode in this. It's very, very G1. And, you know, it's not necessarily 100% cartoon accurate, because, you know, we've got a lot of paneling and stuff going on here that really wasn't part of, you know, the cartoon. We've got a little bit of kibble on here. And then, of course, that piece can come off. And we'll go ahead and pull the fusion cannon off too while we take a look at the figure. And then, so again, that nice Decepticon Tampo, he's got some nice red for the eyes, and then they have a black outline on them too. I don't know how much that's coming through. And then up on his forehead, that angled piece, we've got some paint apps going on up there. The disgusted look on Megatron's face. I'm so sick of these Autobots. And again, Decepticon Tampo, and then he's got, you know, his boops and beep colors right there. Some nice molded details right here. Those vents for his abs. He's got this nice punch of color right there. And then the grays, or the dark grays, at least I think that's what color it is, because I'm colorblind, so don't make fun of handicapped people. And, you know, So I will have to say, overall, it looks really good, and it really does, especially from the waist up, give you that cartoon vibe that should be going on in this line. So let's talk about his articulation real quick. Again, you know, this is, I wouldn't really count this as articulation, but you know, it can do that. So he can look up that high, he can look down that far. He's got no chicken neck. He's got a little bit of waggle in there, not a whole lot. He can do the full exorcist though. At the shoulder, he can raise his arm up about 90 degrees. It might be a little less than 90 degrees. 360 degrees worth of rotation there as well. Has a cut right at the top of the elbow, the bottom of the bicep there. 360 degrees of rotation. Single hinged elbow, and it gives you that much bend, so that's pretty good. And then he does have some articulation in his fingers. The pointer finger is separate from the rest, and then the other three fingers are connected together and they move together. This one moves independently of those. The thumb doesn't move at all. That's the same on both hands. He does have a 360 degree rotation at the waist. There's no ab crunch, but I don't know why I would think there would be an ab crunch. So at the hips, he can give you, we'll go ahead and call that the full splits. And he can kick forward, wow, that far. So that's really good. And then back like a mule, wow, that's pretty good. And then right at the bottom of the hip, there's a double mushroom peg that allows him to have a 360 degree thigh swivel there. And then single hinge knee, and it gives you a little better than 90 degrees. And then ankle tilt, yeah, it tilts forward that far due to transformation. And then it does have rocker too, probably a little bit better than 90 degrees worth. It doesn't really tilt back any. While his foot's locked into position there, I say locked, it's not really locked. But while it's in the proper position there, no toe tilt. So now as far as the accessories go, they're kind of difficult to get into his hand. It's kind of difficult to get in my hand apparently. So as far as the sword goes, it just kind of, you have to clip it into his hand and then close his fingers around it. Oh, and I forgot to talk about his wrist articulation. So it goes up and down, in and out. Well, not really. And then 360 degrees of rotation. So there is that. Megatron can hold his mini Meg in his hand, although that's kind of weird, and sometimes that happens. The wrist does come unpegged. And sometimes you can get it right back in there like that. So you put Mini Meg in his hand, and then you can close the fingers around it, and then of course again his fusion cannon goes on his arm. It can go on either arm, I suppose. And then I guess due to transformation, he probably has a little bit of butterfly too, but I don't really count that because it pops stuff out of position. So there you have it, my friends. A look at me bumping the camera and a look at the figure in his robot mode. It's time for my favorite part of a Transformers review, robot mode comparisons. And here we have the Transformers Studio Series 86, the Transformers the movie, Leader Class Megatron. with also on the front row the Transformers Studio Series 86, the Transformers the movie, Commander Class Optimus Prime. And in the back, we have the Walmart exclusive Netflix War for Cybertron Trilogy Kingdom Spoiler Pack number 3, Voyager Class Megatron. For our last set of robot mode comparisons, here we have the Transformers Studio Series 86, the Transformers the movie, Leader Class Megatron, with the Transformers Titans Returns Legends Class Bumblebee, and the Walmart exclusive Netflix War for Cybertron Trilogy Earthrise Leader Class Optimus Prime. For final ramblings on the Transformers Studio Series 86, the Transformers the movie, Leader Class Megatron, I will say originally I did pass on this figure and it sold out. And it came back in for pre-order again. So I went ahead and got it because I really felt like I needed this particular Megatron to go with the Commander Class 86 Optimus Prime. And I was right. I did need this Megatron. Even though the Siege Megatron and the Earthrise Megatron were okay, my favorite out of that series of Megatrons was the Spoiler Pack number 3 Megatron. And he just yellowed horribly. But at least all the pieces, match. It makes sense that it all kinds of matched up at the hinges and stuff where it yellowed, along with his sword. So there is that. So this, replaces that, and it also goes along with that 86 Optimus Prime. As far as this figure goes itself, it is very G1 animation inspired, especially from the waist up. It looks very much like the animation. The fusion cannon feels a bit small in my opinion, but that may match the animation. I'm not sure. I'm thinking more of the toy. It feels like the fusion cannon was bigger on the original G1 toy. I do like the fact that they gave him the barrel to give him more of that G1 look that plugs into his back. It also is used in tank mode. And then of course he gets the sword that he has his last battle with Optimus Prime with. And of course his little mini-me. Now, the one thing that probably is sticking in everybody's craw is that this is supposed to be based on the animation, but he doesn't turn into a gun, he turns into a tank. And honestly, I'm tired of that debate. I will always be Megatron should turn into a gun, or G1 Megatron should turn into a gun, but honestly, a tank makes more sense. But it is what it is. Up to this point, they're not able to do a gun version, or they're not willing to do a gun version, and I've pretty much given up on it, even though they say it's back on the table now along with Hooded Cobra Commander. Yeah, we'll see. But this is a great figure. This is probably the best mainline Megatron that I have had the pleasure to work with. Now, the transformation probably is not as difficult as I make it look. I just suck at transforming Transformers, even though I love transformable Transformers. I'm just not that great at doing it on camera. is that. One thing I forgot to mention, you can probably fit Siege, or not Siege, but War for Cybertron blast effects in the port of his fusion cannon. So that's kind of cool. And they probably fit on the end of the Mini-Me as well. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of the backs of his... I'm not, you know, from the knee down, I'm not the biggest fan of the visual that this sets off, especially in the back with that kibble going on there. I wish there was a better way to hide that. But again, this is still the best mainline G1 Megatron that we've gotten, and I am not upset that I purchased it. And in fact, I got a little bit of a discount on it. I bought it at GameStop. Check the prices at your GameStop, folks, because this one was $5 below the retail of Big Bad Toy Store. Plus, I had a $5 coupon, monthly coupon to use on it, so I got $10 off of this guy. And with taxes and everything, it came out to right 51 something as of this recording. So make sure you check those prices, because I checked a different GameStop they had this Megatron in, and I checked it was $65. So make sure you check those prices at GameStop, because they like to play games with the prices. I think it's a game at GameStop. But I like this. If you were like me and you originally passed on it, but you have the 86 Optimus Prime and you want something to go with it, I do recommend this one. Not that I'm telling you should run out and buy it, but it is my recommendation that it's a good Megatron. And if you're interested in this at all, you should pick it up before it sells out again. But again, you know your finances better than I do, so you do you, and I will do me, I guess. Well, that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I'm now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content or just help the channel grow, or both. That's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you'll be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.